following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
We're big.
We're big.
It's been about 10 days, but we're happy to be back. Welcome everyone to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name's Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is a man who wants to grow a beard because of the New York Yankees change in beard policy, but unfortunately, best he can do is a mustache. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing today?
I'm doing all right, except for the fact that even a mustache I would grow would be subpar. I don't want to insult all the other mustaches out there, and all of you listening will be happy to know, because I was catching some heat on our last episode with D. Willie before our mini break here for my hair. Everybody, Mr. Smooth was getting at me. Sick Diggy dropped in, got at me a little bit.
Dropped an elbow from the top rope.
Yeah, a lot of people. Our long national nightmare is over, everyone. I got a haircut. So there we go. There we go. But unfortunately, a mustache. I would comply with the old Yankee policy because you don't want to see a mustache on me. But it's good to be back from break. You need a break every once in a while. Good to be back. I'm happy to be here with you. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I got some stuff going on. I completed my certification, kind of working things out with the grades so I can actually print out my certificate.
Nice.
But get that going on. I've got a couple other cool things happening in my life outside the podcast, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about in the green room after the show.
Everyone wishes they could know, but
everyone's things... like, ooh, what's her name, Ryan? No, it's not that. My dad's watching. He's like, what's her name? Dad, no. Stop it. I will spray with a spray bottle. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about tonight, let's go ahead and remind the people watching. Follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Pandora. And also, please don't forget to get notified on Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. Sorry, Elon. And on YouTube. That way you know when we go live, when we have videos come up, when we have videos go up, when we have a show announcements like we're going to have tonight. We're going to announce a contest tonight, which is going to be fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And again, on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, leave us a rating. 5 stars would be awesome. Leave us a review if you're on a podcast platform where you can review. And also on Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify, leave us a comment. You can leave comments now on Spotify. Every episode you can do that. We'll read past, we'll read present. Whatever you leave, whether it's positive or negative, just give us a head. Give us a shout. We appreciate it because that way it moves the algorithm and moves people to see. Hey, No Credentials Required. Hey, what's this podcast all about? And I know, Dustin, we've missed this sound. We're a live podcast on Tuesdays. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We are currently broadcasting on our YouTube page, but it'll be on the Belly Up Sports YouTube page tomorrow. We're on the Belly Up Sports Facebook page right now, and we're also on our Twitter page. So if you're watching from there, leave us a comment. And I know, Dustin, you've missed this sound the past 10 days, but happy. It's time. It's about time. It's about that time.
I think it's chime time.
It certainly is. We got some comments in the comment section already. On Facebook, Belly Up Sports saying, during this broadcast, you can support the creator by sending stars, a digital gift that helps us earn money. So yeah, help the network, send us a star. We'd appreciate it on Facebook. Julie from Michigan chiming in saying, hello, gentlemen. Hello to you, Julie. Appreciate you watching. Matt from the Corner Booth podcast saying, MILF, MILF. Man, I love football. But we still despise the Johnson brothers. And he also asked me, Ryan, how are you feeling about Aaron Glenn? Loving his presser so far. I love the passion. That's what sold me. It's his passion. He's good. He's a passionate dude. And he said today at the combine, he said, I get emotional thinking about what's good. I'm thinking about our opener. So whatever that's going to be. I keep thinking about week 1. So he's getting the feels out. So, we got some work to do with the quarterback situation and with Aaron Rodgers being gone. We talked about that in our last episode with our friend Drew Willingham, but yeah, I'm feeling the energy. I can feel the energy. From Indianapolis or wherever or Florham Park or Texas, wherever he is.
Yeah. He just, as an outsider, he projects the right aura. I think his opening presser was one of the best of the new hires. I would put Pete Carroll as a 1A or a number 2 behind Aaron Glenn. Pete Carroll's opener, from what I saw, also very good. Both of them went much better than Liam Cohen. We know that, but
I got queued up and ready.
Let it go. We got to see it one time.
I'm rolling it. Let's do it.
Duval.
He's never living that down. I'm sorry, Liam. You could go 13-3 in your first season with the Jaguars, and it's not gonna matter.
And I saved this in the queue too. Aaron Glenn.
Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. Listen, there are going to be some challenges, but with challenges gets opportunity. But here's what I do know: we're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that gets you ready.
I actually got my Jets shirt on today. So,
oh man,
it was clean. That's the only reason why I wore it.
There we go. It's perfect timing, and I'll be excited. If we are so lucky to see your Jets-centric show come back after a few victories next season. We'll see.
But that's one of the things I'll talk with you in the green room afterwards.
All right. I stepped in something. Eh?
We're gonna catch up on what we missed while we were gone. So we've been gone for 10 days, and we got some things to talk about. Got some things to catch up on. But the first thing we're going to catch up on is Four Nations face-off. The fallout from that. Canada beat the United States 3-2 in overtime on Thursday night. And what I thought was a really good series. I wrote an article about this on bellyupsports.com. Ding. And I talked about how special it was, because at first Gary Bettman's announcing, we're going to replace All-Star Weekend this year. We're going to have 4 nations give us our best NHL players, and we're going to who play in the NHL, and we're going to see who's the best in the world. At the end of the day, it was Canada, which was kind of a bummer because I kind of wanted to see us, get some glory for once in the major realms of terms of hockey. I know we're two-time defending champions in the World Juniors, but I wanted to see a big old victory in the NHL.
Yeah,
that's all right. We'll get him next year in Milano Cortina for the 2026 Olympics. So got to find out who's going to be on the Olympic roster. I have to wonder if General Manager Bill Guerin is going to run it back with the same roster he had for the Four Nations, but we'll see. But Dustin, I want to get your impression. Did you watch the Four Nations face-off? If you did, what were your impressions of it? If not, why not? Were you watching the NBA All-Star Weekend?
I did not watch the NBA All-Star Weekend.
For you.
All right. I did not watch that. Now, the Four Nations face-off, I did not intentionally not watch it. It just, I've had a lot going on, and the Four Nations games always seem to fall like when I had other things going on. I might have been at a friend's house. I might have been at dinner because I made previous plans, And initially, I will admit, I wasn't as excited for the Four Nations, but I caught a little bit of the fever once, obviously you get into a fight 9 seconds into the into the first game. You're like, hey, maybe I'm gonna because I didn't know. I was skeptical. I will admit I was skeptical whether the players on the respective teams would take it seriously. And guess what? I was reminded, hey, idiot, people always take it seriously in the Olympics. So why would this be any different? Because they're representing their country. And so I did watch a bit of the championship game while I was making bread after dinner plans that I had. I was making bread because I promised my coworkers I would bring some in. You got to try to keep your promises when you can. And so I was watching a bit of the championship game, and I was hoping that we would pull this out because Canada, it's kind of like us in basketball. For better or worse, even though the world game has caught up, basketball was invented here. We are expected to win. We are expected to win. Even in baseball, we are, there are countries that are on par with us now, but we are still expected to do well. We are still expected to be a favorite in the World Baseball Classic. But, Canada is the favorite in hockey. Hockey is theirs. Hockey is theirs. And I was hoping that we would be able to knock this thing off. Now, I am sad that I missed more of it than I saw, but I very much enjoyed what I saw. And if this became, I got to read the contents of your article, Ryan, because I, like you, do not think that this should be an every year thing. But I do wonder, what are they going to do? Because the fervor around this, I don't think people anticipated it. I did not think it was going to be a big deal. And I know others on the Belly Up Network felt the same way in clips from other shows that I watched. Some others in the network felt similar to what I felt about it. But it ended up being a big success, a surprising success, especially when you contrast it with the farce that was the NBA All-Star Game. So I do wonder what the NHL is going to do, because I don't think they should do this every year. But what are they going to do to kind of bring the heat back for All-Star Weekend? Because this was a victory for the NHL as a league.
Absolutely. Because this was and it wasn't so much a win for the NHL in terms of ratings, and they did pretty well in the ratings. They had 4.4 million watched the championship game, which was awesome. And no, actually, it was 4.4 million viewers watched USA Canada on Saturday night.
Oh, okay,
really cool. But from a PR standpoint, to hear the glowing reviews from shows that typically don't cover hockey, and how they absolutely panned the NBA All-Star game, the NBA All-Star Weekend, which was awful.
Yeah,
this was a PR win for the NHL in more ways than one, between the quality of the play on the ice and the fact that this was just. Yeah, you got teams playing for country, for their home nation. You got it's not like the NBA where LeBron James said, "My foot hurts. I'm not going to play tonight." So, and I have my criticisms of LeBron James. It's not here nor there, but it's more about the NBA, the current state of the NBA, more than anything. It's not just him. It's not just him. So, in regards to the Four Nations, you can read my article on bellyupsports.com. But I'll give you kind of a snippet of why I think they should hold off this again. Hold off the Four Nations until 4 years from now. Next year, they're gonna have the Olympic break, so you're not gonna see the NHL for 3 weeks in 2026 between. Whenever I got to figure out the dates of the Olympics. I'll look that up in a second.
Yeah, it's usually I think
February.
Yes, it's in February. Yeah. So this time next year we'll be celebrating the Winter Olympiad.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna do plenty of Olympic content here. Not like last year when we kind of about it, but I'm excited for I like the Winter Olympics more. Hot take.
Me too.
I'm a big Olympic fan. I'm a big Winter Olympics guy.
Yeah, we had this discussion with a friend of the show, Gaz.
That's right.
So go back in the archives if you want to watch that. That was the genesis of the famous bet that Ryan. Well, that and leading up to it was the genesis of the bet that Ryan and I had about Olympic basketball. And Gaz was gracious enough to say, "Hey, if neither thing happens, I'll get in on this.
I'll take the prize."
Yeah.
But you wound up winning because the USA won gold. So
yes.
But yeah, let's have this every 4 years because it keeps it's fresh. Because because people will say, "Hey, what happened to the Four Nations? Why isn't Four Nations going in this year? Next year it's the Olympics." Yeah, and you got 2027 and 2028, which I think should still have All-Star Weekend. We should still have All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend in the NHL is a lot more fun than All-Star Weekend in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because unlike the NBA, there is an incentive for the players to play. Cash. A cool $1 million is split between every member of the winning team.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have some sort of incentive. And I do. The reason why I'm so disenchanted with the NBA All-Star game, I never was a huge fan of the game itself. Okay, the fun of the NBA All-Star weekend for me was the 3-point contest, the slam dunk contest. Those were my favorite All-Star events, bar none. They beat everything. But in my opinion, the NHL skills competition, although people have nicknamed it the Connor McDavid Invitational now because he has won. I think the NBA skills or the NHL skills competition is still fun because I like to see hardest slap shot and some of the stuff, fastest skater, things like that. But the NHL All-Star game, people care. You can tell people still care. And that's why it's so hard because the contrast of the NBA, to say nothing of the NFL Pro Bowl. I mean, both of them are kind of mirroring each other. They've both become kind of a shell of what they once were. And even the old digs against the NBA All-Star game is you're going to see some people do some cool stuff, but nobody plays defense. And that's the way the Pro Bowl was. Nobody plays defense because they didn't want anybody getting hurt. But now it's funny that those two events have kind of mirrored each other. And the MLB All-Star game has kind of lost its luster because of interleague play, so.
Yeah. And the most fun is the night before for Home Run Derby.
Yeah. Yeah. The Derby surpasses it, in my opinion.
Derby surpasses it. So, Four Nations, you have it every 4 years. You keep it fresh because it's a prelude to the Olympics. You also keep the USA-Canada rivalry going. It's still in the back of people's minds, especially in next year's Olympics. It's going to be crazy between the US and Canada. And I pray that we both play each other in the medal round. Because with all the stuff going on with Canada booing our national anthem on Saturday night, and the 3 fights in 9 seconds, you're not going to get that in the IIHF. You're not going to get that in the Olympics because fighting is a no-no in the Olympics. But these were under NHL rules. So you're going to get the fighting. And I also think, this is a hot take, I think we swap out either Finland or Sweden and we replace them with Russia. And I say this because I know with all the stupid political ramifications going on with the war, the conflict in Ukraine, I understand leaving out Russia because it looks good for you. But there are more Russian players. So these are the top 5 nations representing the NHL. Canada by far. US right underneath them. Then Sweden, then Russia, then Finland. Yeah. Russia has more players represented in the NHL than Finland does in the NHL. So I think if you swap out, and hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully the conflict in Ukraine is over by then, and we can let go of this political nonsense, and you include Russia in the mix. and we'll have like an 85-year-old Alexander Ovechkin playing in the Four Nations face-off.
Probably still will be playing, which we will
no doubt.
We will get into the Great Eight a little later in the show. But Ryan, it must be the synergy, because I totally agree with you for most of the reasons that you just laid out. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And if we had the Four Nations face off every year, it would lose its luster. That's the reality of the thing. And I have a lot of thoughts, which I will keep to myself, regarding the world's current political climate. Like you, I understand why Russia was kept out. I understand why they were kept out. But if you look at this from purely a sports perspective, Russia is one of the nations that has to be in there, because you want to see who's the best of the best. They have some of the best players in the world.
Yep. And also who is Russia's chief rival in world hockey? Canada.
Yeah.
United States. You don't get the same kind of heat when the USA plays Sweden or the USA plays Finland. You only get that kind of heat when they play Canada or they play Russia, because Russia remembers 1980.
Yeah.
They remember.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Which, by the way, on Saturday with the 45th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. So you can hear Mike Eruzione talk about it somewhere from Boston.
Yeah. I'll tell you, he and the dearly departed Mercury Morris, rest in peace. Those two, if anybody was talking about their respective teams, those two are there with a mic in front of them, ready to talk.
Absolutely. Before we go to our next section, or our next segment, let's go to the comment section. We're mentioning Daniel Smooth. Gentlemen, do you know the Muffin Man?
He lives on Drury Lane, I believe. I don't know.
The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! He also asks, who has the more Hall of Fame worthy facial hair? Lanny McDonald. It's L-A-N-N-Y, not Lenny. It's Lanny. Or Joe Thornton. For my money, it's Lanny McDonald.
All right. I'll go recency bias. And I'll say Joe Thornton. I've always had a soft spot for Joe Thornton, especially with recent things that have come out for him. He paid for an apartment he let like a family live in his apartment and paid for it when they had no place to go. You know, somebody told it at either he was being inducted into maybe the Sharks, like Ring of the NHL equivalent of the Ring of Honor. I can't remember what it was or something. But Joe Thornton, pretty legendary beard.
That's a terrible trade by the Boston Bruins, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Your Uncle Al checking in, saying only able to check out the show for a few minutes, but I thought the Four Nations totally delivered. Sucks that USA lost though. He also says don't sleep on Czechia. Czechia is, I believe, is sixth, right underneath Finland. And then Slovakia, then Switzerland, and then a long list of other nations.
Yeah.
And Daniel Smooth complimenting you, saying your barber did good.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. And you and I got to get together and decide when we're going to chop it up next, because we haven't done a show in too long, my friend.
There we go. All right. Speaking of hockey, we're going to continue with the hockey theme. We're going to go into a new segment, which will run through the end of hockey season. This is Ovi Goal Watch 2025.
Ovi Goal Watch 2025.
It sounds even better with these headphones on.
Oh yeah, that's why I did the ping pong delay, because I knew you'd be wearing them. I knew.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So if you didn't know, that element, the voiceover for that element was our very own Dustin Henry. If we couldn't tell.
I pitch shifted my voice down a little bit. I did some stuff to that one.
Oh my goodness. So Alexander Ovechkin from Russia. Speaking of Alexander Ovechkin and his Russian hockey talents, he is currently 13 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal scoring record in the National Hockey League. Had a hat trick on Sunday afternoon on Dustin's Edmonton Oilers in a 7-3 win. And the Capitals keep on rolling in the Eastern Conference. But more importantly, we're on the cusp of witnessing history.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something, I don't know about you, Ryan, but I haven't been watching hockey as long as you. I know that, and I don't follow it to the degree that you do, or the aforementioned Staniel Smooth, or my dear Uncle Al, who is in the comments as always. But I did not think that any of Gretzky's records would ever be touched. So, this is a pretty monumentous event. And I know Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin will always be compared because them's the breaks. They came out around a similar time.
They were drafted
both very
the same
talented.
year.
Yep. And the hopes of their respected teams were always foisted upon them, like Schmitty. I'll say his name. We'll see if he appears. He's a long time Pens fan. He loves the Pittsburgh Penguins, so naturally he was not the biggest fan of one Alexander Ovechkin, and but Ovechkin's fantastic. He's I mean, he's a no-brainer Hall of Famer in whatever Hall of Fame that you want to put him in. He's one of the best to ever lace up the skates, and the longevity, especially with the way he plays the game. He plays the game with reckless abandon and enthusiasm, even at his advanced age. This is something special to see. And so we thought we'd roll out the red carpet for this one, Ryan. We thought we were going to do something special, and I'll let you take it away when you are ready.
That's right. We are going to do something special here at No Credentials Required because we're generous folk. We are generous folk. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little contest. We're going to have Ovi Go Watch 2025.
Ovi Gold Watch 2025.
We're going to get a lot of mileage out of that one.
We are so going to have a lot of mileage.
And don't worry, Ryan, I saved the template for the session, so I could say a bunch of other ridiculous audio bumpers and they'll have the same effects.
Oh, my goodness. So here's what we're going to do. Because we're generous folks here at No Credentials Required. We're going to have a contest. And we're going to leave it up to the viewers and the listeners. Here's what you're going to do. There are 25 games left this season for the Washington Capitals. Now, God forbid Alexander Ovechkin misses any games this year for that stretch because of injury. Yeah. But here's what we're going to do. You're going to predict the date, the date that Alexander Ovechkin breaks this goal, not ties, but breaks the goal scoring record. And there's plenty to choose from. You can go to the Washington Capitals website, go to their schedule, look at their schedule, and just make a determination on when you think he'll break the record. What we're going to do is that we're going to give a nice little prize package to the participant with who had the closest date to Alexander Ovechkin breaking the record. So, say for example, let's go to their website real quick. /Capitals, not Carpitals, Capitals.
The Carpitals,
the
greatest fish hockey team there ever was.
Yes, not associated with the Toyo Yokohama Carp. No, sorry, not Yokohama. Hiroshima. Sorry. Wow. So, say for example, you choose March 30th. It's a 3:00 game at home. 3:00 game at home against the Boston Bruins. That will be your date for when you predict he'll break the record. And what you're going to do is you're going to put that guess on one of our social media pages, whether it be Facebook. We'll make a post for that. Mm-hmm. Instagram or Twitter. We'll make a post for all 3 social media channels. And you're going to put your predicted date in for when you think Alexander Ovechkin will break the goal scoring record. Now, if you happen to guess the correct date on the nose, we're gonna send you some. We're gonna do something special for you. So whoever picks the date closest to the record, we're gonna send you some stuff from Righteous Felon. We're gonna send you a nice little package. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky from our sponsors here. Some of our premier sponsors here. From Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. We'll send you a bag of coffee from Invader Coffee. You'll also get a T-shirt from our bonfire store. If you happen to guess it right on the nose, we'll include all that stuff, but we'll also include an extra bonus. I don't know what that bonus will be. We'll figure it out, but we're going to include a bonus in your prize package. So again, we're going to put the announcement. We're going to pin it to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram pages. Again, give us the date when you think Alexander Ovechkin will break Wayne Gretzky's record. And if you get closest to that date, we'll send you a nice prize package, courtesy of our show. If you hit the bonus, if you get the exact date, we'll send you a bonus prize along with that prize package that we're going to have. It might be headshots of us. We don't know. You don't know that.
Yeah, you never know.
Autographed headshots of us.
It might be
fun.
The session files for OV Gold Watch 2025. You don't know.
You don't know. We'll turn that into a non-fungible token.
Yes.
All right, so we'll post them tomorrow. Probably say about 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll put those. Actually, no, 1 o'clock Eastern. So I'll put those posts up at 1 o'clock Eastern. And again, good luck to y'all. And we hope that Alexander Ovechkin breaks the record this season. Some people thought he might break it next year. I think he's on pace to break it this year. He's only 13 away, and there's 25 games left in the season. Yeah. He's got a very good chance of beating the record. And people will say, but a lot of those goals this year were empty net goals. Still count.
Goal's a goal. It's what I say every week in the bowling league with my dad. I don't care how they go down as long as all the pins go down. Strike. A goal's a goal.
They don't ask how. They just ask how many. Your Uncle Al saying best single season goals. He said mingle season. Is it mingle season? I mean, spring's around the corner.
Yeah, I thought something.
It's mingle season.
Yeah.
But he said, I think he meant single season goals. Ovechkin scored 65 in a season. Gretzky scored 92. So yeah, we won't see 92 in a season ever again. I know Brett Hull came close in 1992 when he had 86. So that's the closest anybody has come to breaking Wayne Gretzky's record. So this is OV Gold Watch 2025.
OV Gold Watch 2025.
Sounds like you're singing into like one of those giant pipes.
Yeah, I selected a church reverb. I did knock it back though. I knocked back the fader a little bit. I didn't want it. I could have gotten real ridiculous with it.
That's okay. This will do.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have more when we come back. We're gonna talk about the New York Yankees. A couple changes they're making. We're gonna pay tribute to a New York broadcasting legend. And we're also going to reveal our favorite athletes to ever wear the number 14. So please stand by, stay tuned for more. No credentials required.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
That's right, folks. Just serendipitously happen to have a bag of the OG Hickory right here. One of the many flavors featured in that commercial, voiced over by our friend of the show, Brent Radlinski, 1420 Sports Podcast. Check it out. One of our Belly Up Sports podcasts. But in the meantime, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. Handcrafted craft jerky. It's delicious. It comes to your door fast. But it's not just the jerky, it's also the beef sticks, 100% beef, not like those other beef sticks you find in the convenience stores. Its primary ingredient is pulverized chicken.
Yeah. And I have to say, Ryan, I re-upped.
Yes.
And I ordered more beef sticks because I will say the beef sticks I like because they're a little easier for me to take to work and whatever. I got to try more of the jerky flavors. They have more varieties of the jerky flavors, but they do have some different flavors in the beef stick variety, which is one I'm going to talk about right now. The OG Hickory, a classic. I love the OG Hickory. I've had a couple of them this week already. But a new contender in the clubhouse for me is the Street Taco Beef Stick. That one is amazing. I really enjoyed it. It's got a little kick to it, but it's a pork stick, because tacos are, pork or whatever. Delicious, though. And I also did, because I watched him recently, I got a bag of the Ranger dog treats for my nephew. He was here. He needed a bag at this house for when he comes here. So I got the treats, and all my order came very fast. The human treats, the dog treats, it all came in the blink of an eye. I really am impressed by their shipping and the product. You're going to love it. I know I do. I'm going to make it a regular part of my rotation, my snack rotation, because it stops me from reaching for that bag of chips. But I would recommend the Street Taco if you haven't tried it yet, Ryan. It's very good.
I will definitely give it a shot next time I order from them. But you get the beef jerky, you get the beef sticks, you get the air dried biltong, you've got the dog treats, which your puppy nephew Pickles absolutely adores.
Yes.
So this is what you're gonna do: get your hands on Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. You're gonna go to righteousfelon.com, gonna fill up your basket, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, get 15% off your order. But it's not only can you save with promo code BELLYUP at checkout, you can also save with free and fast shipping at checkout with every order of $50 or more. Combine the promo code with the free shipping, save yourself some extra money. But again, righteousfelon.com, promo code BELLYUP at checkout. They're one of our great they're one of I'd say arguably the best sponsor we have at Belly Up Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself some beef jerky today. And as end, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, you get the no credentials required seal of approval.
Yes. And I brought some to work for some of my coworkers. I said, hey, give these a shot. And pretty good reviews all around from my coworkers at the old day job. So,
all right. Let's talk about the New York Yankees.
New York Yankees?
The New York Yankees!
Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza.
So on this program, we talked about this over the break, and we're going to start covering the New York Yankees baseball a lot more in this program. But it's not going to start until, well, actually, today, 30 days from today, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Opening day in the Bronx.
Yeah, which is insane to think about. But it's going to be great, and I know Brett's going to be very excited, even though we were all disappointed with how last season ended. Let's put it behind us. This is a new year. We're ready to go, and excited to see how some of the pitching additions in New York work out. So interesting season, excited, ready for the warmer weather. If you live in an area like Ryan and I do, I'm ready for the warmer weather. I want to be back out on my patio. I want to be smoking cigars again occasionally. I want to be smoking meats. I'm ready for baseball. I want to hear the crack of the bat.
Me too. With all that being said, the Yankees made a couple of, I wouldn't say earth-shattering, but franchise-changing announcements. And the first came on, I believe it was Thursday, 21st. Nope, that was Friday. It was Friday, 10 a.m., around 10 a.m. Eastern. The Yankees made an announcement in a statement from managing general partner, Red owner Hal Steinbrenner, regarding the alteration of the Yankees' facial hair policy. And this is what it says, and I quote, "In recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and valued feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniform personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy." Close quote.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. Yeah, this needed to happen. And I know some people are going to mock us and saying, "Oh, they're covering this." Yes, and I'm going to
Yes,
tell
we
you
are.
why. Yeah.
Because
I'm
we're
gonna tell
Yankees
you,
fans.
Yes. Yes, that's reason number one. We're Yankees fans. We get to talk about what we want to on this show because it's our show. And
Yes.
we do care about what the cred heads and fans and people that watch or listen to the show think as well. But and there was a poll asking for feedback, so we're gonna listen. But this is a big deal for the Yankees. Okay, this policy was no joke, costing them shots at players because the players wanted to, rightfully so, be able to keep their beards. You know, and there were players. I'm not even joking. There are players that would not consider going to the Yankees because they didn't want to shave their beards. So this is a move that needed to happen. It should have happened many years ago. It is not 1955 anymore. People can have beards. People can have well manicured beards. You know, it's yes, yes. Like my broadcast and YouTube and everything, podcast partner.
Any beard companies that want to sponsor me, go right ahead. This beard's for sale.
Yeah,
I'm not selling out. I'm buying in.
But yeah, there you go.
Jeremy's razors. Can you hear me? Sorry, Dustin.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Not a problem. Now I endorse that beard message. By the way, get at them, razor companies. Come on. But players did not want to play for the Yankees because of this. And if you think I'm overstating it, there's plenty of coverage out there. Go look it up.
Yeah. And is it coincidental that on the day the Yankees announced their facial hair policy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. says that he would be amenable to join the Yankees if he were to be involved in a trade, considering his contract dispute with the Toronto Blue Jays is going to be turning into a saga.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be long and contentious.
No, but you know, I would not doubt it plays at least a factor because Vlad Jr. has long maintained that he hated the Yankees and would not go there. Now, I don't really know the reason why. I don't think he's ever given it. But I do not think it is entirely coincidental that on the day this change was announced, he said, maybe I would go to the Yankees. I think it's a little of column A, a little bit of column B.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As for me, this is long overdue. I thought the policy was antiquated. I thought it would have died with George Steinbrenner. Unfortunately, it didn't because his daughter, Jennifer Steinbrenner Swindle, said, out of respect for my father, I think he would have wanted this policy to keep going. And unfortunately, since his passing in 2009 and is now 2025, that policy was still in effect. Mm-hmm. And I understand the reason for it. I know you're playing in a market that is, people know you by your face. And when they see a clean shaven face, they're a Yankee. They're a Yankee. And I remember when McCutchen joined the Yankees after he was traded by the Pirates. He had to cut off his dreadlocks and cut off his beard.
Yeah.
And shave his beard. So, and he said, yeah, they kind of stripped me of my individuality. I said, in a way, yeah, they did. But but also that's the policy. That's the policy of the team. But I'm glad that Hal Steiner kind of, I wouldn't say came to his senses, but it's time to join the times.
Yeah.
And they've been, fans, players have been begging the Yankees to do this for years because, I'm a guy who was like, and once upon a time I did shave my face because, the Yankees were my favorite team. That was their policy. I figured, all right, cool. It's going to be my policy too. Keep a clean shaved face. Then I started losing my hair and I'm like, well, something's got to go in his head. So might as well be a beard. So, but yeah, it was kind of weird that, for a long time when the Yankees would bring in a player, they would have facial hair. Then all of a sudden they join the Yankees and it'd be gone. Like, who is this guy? Who's this joke?
Yeah.
Who's this schmuck?
They look different. Noticeably
They look different. They absolutely look different. So if you see on our thumbnail for Facebook today, I did put a beard using Canva on Aaron Judge. It's kind of slapdash, but it's there. I did ask Grok on Twitter to generate some pictures of Aaron Judge wearing a beard, and it looks like somebody took Alex Verdugo's beard and put it on Aaron Judge.
Oh man,
it looked weird.
Yeah,
it looked weird. But I welcome this change. It's about time. The Yankees needed to get with the times eventually, and I'm glad that Hal Steinbrenner said, "Yeah, the decision's up to me." I talked to some players. I wanted their input. And I said, "Yep, yeah, it's about time. You got to keep it. Obviously, you got to keep it well manicured, well groomed. You don't want to look like a Neanderthal, like the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, you don't want Captain Caveman coming to bat. Put it that way. So, yeah, I applaud this change. I welcome this change. I'm very happy about it. And then over the weekend, Brian Hawk reported. That was it was on Sunday. I put in our Discord chat that the Yankees will no longer play New York, New York after home losses. Instead, they'll play a rotation of other Frank Sinatra songs on the day they played their preseason preseason game. They played "That's Life" after they lost. So, Dustin, your opinion on the fact that they're not playing New York, New York after home losses?
I think that this one, I guess, kind of makes sense. New York, New York felt better with the wins, but also I didn't care when you put this in our Discord. I was kind of like, some people got to calm down, because some people we're up in arms about this. But for me, it kind of makes sense. There should be something. I wouldn't mind if "That's Life" became the standard after a loss, and then New York, New York was the standard after a win. But ultimately, this wasn't a big deal to me. This really didn't matter to me. To use a phrase from our Super Bowl reaction show, this one's kind of a nothing burger. I didn't care either way. It's not like the facial hair policy. That one was actually affecting the team. This it doesn't matter to me, but I'll put a vote in for make "That's Life" the standard after losses and New York, New York the standard after wins.
I actually welcome this change too. I mean, you walk out of the stadium and after a loss and you're hearing New York, New York over and over again, you're like, we just lost.
Yeah.
Why are we celebrating our city after we lost a game at home? So for them to play Frank Sinatra, other tunes from Frank Sinatra after a loss rather than New York, New York, I'm okay with it. I welcome it. I wasn't screaming from the rafters for X amount of years that I would hope that they would stop playing it. Play something different, but you're not going to hear a dirge. That's for sure. It's not a funeral. It's not a funeral, Paul. But you got to do something different than New York, New York after a home loss, because that's more of a celebratory song than anything. So "That's Life." I would like to hear them. What other Sinatra songs could they possibly do?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, "My Way" has a sad overall tone to it, but by the end it gets celebratory, and that wouldn't work either. I don't know. What's the song about Chicago? Because I could see that. Is it called Chicago or is it called My Kind of Town or something? I can't remember. I'm not the biggest Frank fan, but if they
Here we go. Have them play Something Stupid. That's literally the name of the song, Something Stupid.
Oh, there we go. There we go. But if they do, and with that being said, though, if they do not play Chicago or whatever it's called, after a potential loss to Chicago, I think they're missing an opportunity.
They should play It's a Very Good Year sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Loss.
It was a very good year.
When I was 17,
Yeah.
I drank some very good beer. I drank some very good beer I purchased with a fake ID. My name was Brian McGee.
Oh, yeah.
I stayed up listening to Queen when I was 17.
Homer Simpson.
Oh, Homer. All right. And we're trying to figure out a name for our Yankees segment. So if you have an idea, drop us a line on social media. Dustin came up with a flurry of them right before the show.
I had just eaten. My brain was ready.
His brain was ready. He was in podcast recording mode. So that's been our New York Yankees segment to be named.
New York Yankees?
The New York Yankees!
Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza?
Oh man, it's fitting that Uncle Al is in watching tonight because I always think of him because we've been doing that for years. every time.
The New York Yankees. All right, we gotta pay tribute to a New York sports legend. Where did I put it? There it is. We unfortunately lost yesterday, 3 days short of his 69th birthday. Al Trautwig.
Man,
longtime broadcaster in New York with MSG, with Madison Square Garden Network, also on ABC, NBC, who was the gymnastics commentator from 2000 to 2016. Also did some narrating too on the side for the human interest stories too. I remember him, and also made a cameo appearance in Cool Runnings.
Yes.
And there's a story. There's a well-known story that the pool scene in Meet the Parents, that's his pool. That's his house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and apparently he shared an incredible story about how. I'll paraphrase it. The movie set overstayed their welcome, and when Al Trautwig went to shake Robert De Niro's hand, De Niro completely snubbed him.
Oh man! Oh,
but Al Trautwig, I found this post on social media today. I found this on Twitter, and I'm gonna share it. It's from his MSG days. This was back in the 90s, so I'll share this clip, courtesy of Nick's Muse, the Twitter page. It's the fan page on Twitter, and we'll share some of the genius that was Al Trautwig. Muse. Oops. Yeah, 1 second.
Yep. And you mentioned the cameo on Cool Runnings, and that's what I remember.
Yep. All right. Got it up and running. Here we go. Up and running.
Garden, this is Al Trautwig. On big game days, and this is a big game day at Madison Square Garden, we always like to get the opposing team arriving. It adds drama. Now, the Bulls are here today, and of course, that is special. They'll be coming up just in minutes, right up this very ramp. And of course, since we work at the Garden, we know that we're privy to the secret information. So we'll be able to get a private interview with one of the defending world champions. It should be very exciting. What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know.
Come on, we better get out of the way. Come on. Hurry up. Hey guys, which one was Jordan?
Well, it's part of the genius that was Al Trautwig. But yeah, it's sad to hear about him. I know he hasn't been on television for a while.
Yeah.
I guess his contract with MSG ended at the end of 2021, and he wasn't really making many appearances on television afterwards. So I guess there was some speculation that he didn't look well and he was fighting. He might have his health might have declined, and unfortunately, we found out yesterday that he passed away. So, Dustin, we some thoughts and memories of Al Trautwig from you.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I will forever associate Al Trautwig with MSG, and I did not watch many Ranger games, but he was always the voice of the Ranger games to my memory, and also for the Knicks, and MSG during some of those years. But the thing that I associated Al Trautwig with, and it's largely due to his cameo in Cool Runnings, was the Olympics. And you mentioned his gymnastics commentary, and I believe he covered some other Olympic events at the time. I think he did. But that cameo with Cool Runnings is what I remember him most from. And because I watched that movie obsessively as a kid, as I think a lot of people did. It's because of my love of John Candy and things, and just that movie is a classic. But he is one of those people that will be forever frozen in time for me now because of that movie. 60, you said just shy of his 69th birthday. It's
3 days.
Too young. Entirely too young. Yeah. As you get older, your barometer of what is entirely too young changes a little bit. But Al Trautwig, just, he's synonymous with 90s sports and presence, because he was on MSG and we've grown up here, and we do get MSG, and just a New York sports staple. Maybe not as much as Marv Albert was at one time, but Trautwig is up there, and he always just brought a professionalism to the games that he was the games that he was doing, the things that he was covering. But honestly, Cool Runnings, he's forever etched in my mind for the what the heck, go champs, and he takes the he unzips his jacket. He's got a Jamaica shirt on there. Al Trautwig, just gone too soon. But yeah, a memory of my childhood. And it makes you think about your own mortality, because the memories and cornerstones of our childhood are disappearing.
Yeah, that's for sure. I remember him from the ABC, from the Olympics, for NBC. He was the in-studio host of the New York Yankees on Madison Square Garden Network for 10 years before Yes Network came along in 2001. 2002, excuse me, 2002. So it's it's definitely, it's one of those voices from your childhood, from your teenage years. It kind of sticks with you. It's like, oh man, what happened to that guy? And unfortunately, we find out that passes away from cancer. So, it's sad to see. Like you said, Dustin, the people you watched and the people you observed on television and listened to on radio just leave this realm sooner than they should. And it was his time, as my friend on Twitter, Matthew Bopp, said, I hope God welcomes him as a friend. So it's for the hope for everyone when our loved ones pass away, or people who we appreciated and loved their craft. We hope the same for them. So thanks, Al. Appreciate the memories of great broadcasting with you. And that brings us to the last segment of the night, which is our favorite athletes to wear the number 14. And as usual, this is the 14th episode of 2025. And we're going through our favorite athletes to wear the specific number that corresponds with the episode number. So this is episode number 14. We're talking about our favorite athletes to wear the number 14. I'm going to start with you, Dustin. Give us your favorite athlete to wear the number 14.
All right. Well, at first this is one of the ones, like, I will spoil a bit for next episode. 15, I have two picks, and I am waffling between two picks. But 14, I couldn't think of anybody that really stuck out to me. So I had to do a little bit of research. And in the course of my research, because there was one athlete I thought about, but DK, he wears 14, but I'm like, I can't, his career's not even over. I can't, I was like, it's too close. I can't go that route. So I was like, I got to come up with somebody else. And as I was doing my research, a name leapt off the page to me once, and it really is. We talk about memories of our childhood, and this kind of dovetails unintentionally well with the last segment, because my pick, partially because of the coolness of his nickname, I loved it hearing it when I was a kid. I'm going with number 14, the Big Cat, Andres Galarraga.
Nice.
I loved Andres Galarraga. Not only was he good, and he was good well into his quote unquote advanced age, but he had the coolest nickname. I mean, the Big Cat, it's awesome. And he also, I remember him playing for the Expos. I remember him playing later in his career for the Braves, the Rockies. The Angels, I think. And he too, unfortunately, battled cancer, which had an impact on some of his career numbers. But he was amazing for the Braves in his cancer-free seasons. I think he hit 72 home runs in 2 seasons for them when he had recovered. But as far as, career batting average, 288. And he's got 399 home runs, one shy of 400. 288 career batting average is pretty good, folks, especially for as long as he played. He came into the bigs in 1985. He played until 2004. And like I said, his career was affected by cancer a little bit. But the Big Cat, Andres Galarraga, he was one of the fixtures of 90s baseball for me and early 2000 baseball. It was great to see him out there. Loved watching him play. Big respect to the Big Cat.
I'm going off board for this one.
All right.
And your Uncle Al in the comments says Lou Piniella, Sweet Lou, number 14.
See, but I didn't really see him play. I know him best as a manager.
Yep. For me, I'm picking the quarterback who I first watched and fell in love with the game of football. Going with Richard Todd, number 14 for the New York Jets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny. I actually follow his daughter on Twitter. His daughter is married to one of the hosts of Crane and Company, David Cohn. Not to be mistaken with great Yankees pitcher David Cohn. This is former University of Michigan quarterback David Cohn. But yeah, the New York Jets were the first football team that I was a fan of, because if you know my story, you can find it in the shorts on YouTube. But yeah, I'm wearing the green right now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the early 1980s New York Jets teams was a team that should have won a Super Bowl. And they were led by Richard Todd. And Richard Todd was from the University of Alabama. I believe he won a national championship with the University of Alabama with Bear Bryant as their head coach. And he was one of the most underrated quarterbacks from that late 70s, early 80s era, where the Jets were starting to come out of that funk. That was the 1970s. You could kind of see the momentum building. And as a young pup, a 4-year-old kid, as a young pup, learning what sports are, learning how to play sports, learning how to catch a football, learning how to hit a baseball, field a baseball. And Richard Todd became one of my favorite athletes to watch on television. I rooted for the Jets every single week that they were on. That great teams with Richard Todd and Wesley Walker as wide receiver, Freeman McNeil. You had the New York Sack Exchange with Mark Gastineau, Joe Klecko, Marty Lyons, Abdul Salam, may he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard Todd was the catalyst of that team. He's the one who got the offense going. And I remember the year that the Jets came so close. They came this close. They had one game. They had to beat the Miami Dolphins in the AFC Championship game. And I'm sure Don Shula is laughing somewhere beyond the grave because the Dolphins did not cover the field when big rainstorms were coming in that weekend, and the field got muddy and the field got gross and nobody could really do anything. And Richard Todd throws 2 interceptions to AJ Dewey, and the rest is history. And unfortunately, it was sad to see him go after the 1982 season. Was it 1980? Yeah, it was 1982 because they drafted Kenny O'Brien in 1983. So, yeah, but the first quarterback who I loved and admired and loved watching the football field was Richard Todd. I remember watching him play as a young kid. Like, I wanted to be him. I wanted to be either him or Joe Theismann. And then Joe Theismann got his leg broken by Lawrence Taylor on Monday night. And my parents said, "You're not playing football." And I said, "Darn it." Actually, I'll tell you one thing about my love for Richard Todd in terms of an athlete. When I played Little League, when I played T-ball, when I was 6 years old, I had my choice of taking number 8 or number 14. Number 8, if I knew at the time, I would have selected number 8 because number 8 was Yogi Berra, one of my favorite all-time Yankee. I never got to see him play, but he's my favorite all-time Yankee from all the stories I heard.
Yeah.
So I had my choice of number 8 or number 14. I got first pick. I said, you know what? Richard Todd's my favorite football player. I'm picking number 14. And my brother Jeremy won number 8 that season. If I knew if I remembered, if I knew about Yogi Berra, then I would have picked number 8 because I played catcher too. But I picked 14 because my favorite athlete was Richard Todd. So there you go.
All right. There you go. That's you had a 14 that obviously he came to your mind. Like you didn't even have to think about it. This one, and that's the way it's going to be. And if anybody knows anything, I'll give a little hint. One of the athletes that I'm thinking about for next episode wore 2 numbers. And I'm trying to do the math in my head and figure out whether we're going to get to the episode number of his second number because will it work? I don't know. This is one of the things. But no, I enjoyed hearing about your stories about Richard Todd, and I would wear your number 14 with pride, Brian. Wear your number 14. Let you know.
Well, the shirt's long gone, and it wouldn't fit me anyway. So, but yeah, if I ever were to get another Jets jersey, I would get number 14, and it would have Richard Todd's name at the back.
Oh yeah, you should definitely do that because then you got a jersey that you could just wear to games or wear for game days or whatever in perpetuity. Yeah. I have a Largent jersey. I wear that thing. And did I see Steve Largent play? I did not because I was not following football at that time.
So it's interesting that some of my favorite Jets all have a factor of 7. Kenny O'Brien, Richard Todd, and Curtis Martin.
Oh man, okay, yeah.
So foreshadowing for episode 28, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes you're gonna have that. I don't think it's everybody knows who I'm picking when we get to episode 41, etc. There's gonna be those certain slam dunks. But I think 15 may surprise some people.
All right. We'll find out on Saturday. Speaking of which, we'll get going at 10 a.m. Your uncle, one more time, the last comment, Y.A. Tittle. Did you see him play, Al?
Yeah, he's always bringing up YA. Any opportunity he can to bring up YA, he's going to do it.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
It is. All right, we're going to get ourselves out of here. But before we do that, we just want to remind you about our social media channels. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. on the podcast side. You can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, please don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when show announcements go up, when videos go up, when we're live. Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, and Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Your Uncle Al says his dad watched him. Giants fandom is genetic, for sure. Some might call it a virus.
That's still, I still love the quote. I asked Scott when his daughter was born, our friend Scott, I said, Scott, are you gonna watch the Jets with her? Are you gonna make her a Jets fan? And he just looks at me and serious as a heart attack. He goes, I can't do it to her.
On the podcast side, again, rate, review, comment, leave a 5-star rating, leave a review where you can. And if you're on Spotify, leave us a comment. Also, on the Belly Up Sports YouTube page, you're watching the recording tomorrow, sometime tomorrow morning or sometime afterward. Leave a comment in the comment section because, again, everything we're an algorithm-based society now, which sucks, but what are you going to do? Leaving comments, it drives it. It makes people see our network, but we've got some big things planned for our network this year. So you might want to tune in to all of our socials there at Belly Up Sports and to our YouTube page where we'll be featured. So check us out there. In the meantime, we're going to get out of here Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Join us then. Join us live. We'll be back on our Facebook page. We'll be on Twitter. We'll be on YouTube. You can find the replay afterwards on Belly Up Sports YouTube page. In the meantime, we're going to get out of here. So thank you again for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back here Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it, or just listen to the podcast afterwards. In the meantime, we'll talk to you on Saturday.
Good night, everybody.
There it is.